Hi everyone, happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I missed you all last week. Last week I was off celebrating my birthday with my family. We went on a little early birthday trip to the Oregon coast, which was a bunch of fun. So yeah, this week I celebrated my birthday, and I also got to celebrate my son's first birthday. My birthday is July 22nd and his is July 24th, so we got to have a double celebration for the two of us, so really fun. But today I wanted to come back to share with you guys a really fun thing that I put together, which is some basic recipes that taste way better when they're made at home, when they're homemade, and they're super easy. And the great part is you only need one kitchen utensil, and that is a whisk. So really easy and simple stuff that tastes delicious. And today I'm going to share with you how to make a mayonnaise, how to make a vinaigrette, and how to make whipped cream at home. Super easy. Like I said, all three of them are perfect for the summertime because they go with tons of summer dishes. Hey Austin! If you're using making like summer salads, like a tuna salad or a chicken salad, deviled eggs, all those things. Mayonnaise is obviously a key ingredient. All those potato salad, and then of course if you're making just regular salad, a vinaigrette goes great on top of a summer salad, and whipped cream is perfect with absolutely every single dessert. So you can get a ton of use out of all of these recipes over the summertime and throughout the rest of the year as well. I will warn you though, there is a little bit of an arm workout involved with your whisking all of these dishes, but they are really easy to make, like I said. And the great thing about all of these is that you will know exactly what's in your food when you make these. A lot of times when you purchase them at home, at the store, you might end up with a bunch of fillers and preservatives, but when you make mayonnaise, a vinaigrette, or whipped cream at home, you can have control over all of the ingredients that are inside, so you can keep it really simple and clean so that you don't have all those fillers and preservatives in your food, making it a lot healthier for you and your family. So I'm going to start with going over how to make a mayonnaise for you. So mayonnaise is a really simple recipe. The ingredients in it, you're gonna have one egg yolk, so you'll need one egg, and you'll need to separate the yolk from the white. And then the next ingredient you'll have is some Dijon mustard. You'll also need some oil. Vegetable oil works well. I have sunflower oil that I'm using today, so you'll need some oil. You'll need about half a cup of the oil, and then 2 teaspoons of the Dijon. You'll also need 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, so you'll need a lemon, and then a pinch or so of salt. So those are the ingredients that you'll need for the mayonnaise. The thing that how you'll start this is like I said, you'll separate the egg yolk from the white. So you put your egg yolk in a bowl, and then you want to add the pinch of salt, and then get your whisk, and you're going to start whisking those together. So you're trying to break up the proteins inside the egg, because what a mayonnaise is called an emulsion, and that basically means that the oil, the little globules of oil, is that a word? Globulates, whatever the word is for that, is suspended within the proteins of the egg, and that is what makes it into a mayonnaise, which is, like I said, it's an emulsion. So what you want to do is break up those proteins so that the oil has something to suspend inside of. So that's what you're doing when you're whisking the egg yolk, is you're breaking all of those proteins up. So you're going to start by doing that. And then little by little, you're going to add in your oil. So you want to start really with a small amount of the oil. So maybe just a few droplets of the oil. And at first, when you're making an emulsion, it's really unstable, but the longer that you're whisking it together and the more oil that you add, it'll become more and more stable. So as you go along, you can add the oil faster, but you want to start off really slowly with just a little bit of oil inside of the egg yolk. And usually a mayonnaise is about 80% oil by volume, so the majority of mayonnaise is actually oil. That's the same thing for the mayonnaise that you buy at the store. It's pretty much all oil, it's all fat. That's why it tastes so good on everything. Fat is what gives everything flavor. That's where the flavor is in pretty much all the foods, like meats and everything. The fattier bits are the tastier parts. So I'm gonna keep mixing that. So I added a little bit before we started so that you guys wouldn't have to sit here and watch me do the entire process. So where I am right now, I've added probably about half of my oil. You can see that there. And so you'll see it's starting to lighten up. It was just the egg yolk, the salt, and the oil that I've been mixing together. So this is about half of my oil that's gone in. And as you continue adding more, it'll get lighter and lighter, and start to resemble more of that whitish color that we associate with mayonnaise. And I'm at the point now where I can add bigger bits of my oil to the mayonnaise, and you'll see the texture is starting to turn into what we usually expect from a mayo. And with a mayonnaise, the great thing is you can add all sorts of flavors to this. So you could add some sriracha, so you could have like a spicy sriracha mayonnaise. You could add all sorts of different spices that you like to add more flavors to this. You could also add garlic to it and turn it into an aioli. That's what turns something into aioli. Basically, aioli is a mayonnaise, but when you add garlic to it, it suddenly has a new name. It becomes Italian and it becomes an aioli. So this is pretty much good to go as my mayonnaise. And so this took me about, I think I was mixing for about 3 or 4 minutes before I got on camera with you guys. And then obviously within the time that I've been here, maybe another 3 or 4 minutes, we have mayonnaise. So like I said, super easy and fast to make, absolutely tasty. So I've already added, like I said, the salt and the oil. So now we just add the additional flavoring. So I have some lemon juice that I'll pop in here. And then we have our Dijon, so we can just put a few teaspoons of that inside and mix it together. And for uses for mayonnaise, there's tons of ways. Obviously it goes great on sandwiches. If you're making a tuna salad, egg salad, chicken salad, all of those things are really, really great for. Any kind of summer dish, really. You can pop this on hamburgers, obviously, is another good one. So mayonnaise has tons and tons of uses. For making your own fresh mayonnaise, I would recommend you want to use this within probably the same day or the next day, since it doesn't have preservatives in it. It won't keep as long, but you don't have to make a large amount. So this right here, you can see this is a relatively small amount that I made in this bowl, and this would serve me for, you know, a few sandwiches or making a salad for 1 or 2 people. So that is how to make your mayonnaise at home. And oh, the other thing is this has raw egg in it. So if you are worried about salmonella, you can get pasteurized eggs so that you don't have to worry about the fact that we used a raw egg in this. And another thing is with making the emulsion for a mayonnaise, warmth helps. So if you are going to make the mayonnaise, you can leave your egg out on the counter, leave the other ingredients out to warm up a little bit, and it will make the process go faster. So I left my egg out on the counter for a few minutes, for probably about 20 minutes before I started, to allow it to warm up a little, and that will make the emulsion go faster because the proteins will fall apart faster when you're making it. So that's another thing that helps move the process along a little bit faster if you're making a mayonnaise. So moving on from mayonnaise, we're going to the vinaigrette. And vinaigrette, it gets its name from the French word for vinegar. And as you probably guessed by now, vinegar is a key ingredient. I'm just cleaning off my whisk in a bowl of water here so we don't end up with mayonnaise inside of our vinaigrette. Vinegar is a key ingredient in your vinaigrette, and this one is also an emulsion, and that means again that the globulates of oil or vinegar are suspended in the other ingredients. So with this one, it's going to be the vinegar is suspended in the oil, and it's really a really easy emulsion to create. It usually has about like a 3-to-1 ratio, so you would have 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar, and then you can add what other kinds of flavorings that you like in there. I like to add honey. You could also do like soy sauce. You can add other like fresh ingredients like garlic and ginger as well. All sorts of flavorings, whatever kind of vinaigrette that you like. It's one of the recipes that is really versatile and easy to change up to whatever that you want based on the kind of salad you're creating or whatever kind of flavors that you enjoy. So I've already put in my vinegar, so this is what we have here. Like I said, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. I don't really go too exact with this. I kind of eyeball it, so you don't have to get too specific on how much. You can kind of just play with it. This is a really easy going kind of recipe. So for the vinegar, I'm using this balsamic vinegar. It's a coconut flavored balsamic vinegar that we brought back from a vacation a long time ago, and I just thought it'd be fun to kind of add that as a flavor. And then I also have this is a lemon flavored olive oil. So it's kind of like a lemon coconut flavored vinaigrette that I'm going with here. And then I have a little bit of honey as well. I always like to sweeten my vinaigrette a little bit. So We'll start off with the vinegar. You can use any kind of vinegar that you have, balsamic, red wine, white wine, champagne vinegar, all of those are good ones, or whatever kind of basic vinegar. Balsamic is a very traditional one. A lot of people do a balsamic vinaigrette. And then for oils, any kind of oil really works. I like an olive oil, but nut oils also work really well. Vegetable oil is also another stand-in that you can use. And then other kinds of flavors you can add, also like a Dijon mustard if you like that. And then of course salt and pepper are essentials to have in your vinaigrette. So the first thing we'll do is we'll whisk together everything except for the oil. So all the other flavorings. Here I'm just going to do honey and the balsamic vinegar. So now that those are mixed together, the next thing I'm going to do is slowly drizzle in some of the oil that I have with that mixture. And as you drizzle that in, you'll just keep on whisking. And with a vinaigrette, it's more of like a temporary emulsion, so it's not going to have that thick consistency that we had with the mayonnaise. You can see it really came together. It's completely emulsified. With this one, it's more temporary, so it might fall apart a little bit, but that's okay, because with a salad dressing, you're not really expecting it to sit and hold together for a long period of time. This is one you would make, and then you would immediately pour over your salad. And so if it falls apart a little bit when it's on the salad, that's completely fine, because the flavors will still be on top of each other. And so it's totally fine if the emulsion doesn't hold together for a long period of time. It doesn't have to be a permanent emulsion. So there we go. You guys can see that there. This might be a little easier if I tip it this way instead of tipping it towards the camera and pouring it all over my counter. So this is a balsamic vinegar mixed with olive. So I guess it would be a balsamic vinaigrette. And this one's actually pretty thick, good sized emulsion. If you can see how the thickness that's on there. It's really good too. And you another thing, when you're putting together a vinaigrette for your salad, we can help you get better results in terms of putting the vinaigrette on the leaves that you're creating. You want to make sure that they're completely dry, because as you may have heard, oil and water don't get along so well. So if your leaves of your salad are wet, then when you put the vinaigrette on, it's going to repel the vinaigrette. It's going to fall off the leaves completely, and so then all of your vinaigrette's going to end up on the bottom of the plate or the bowl and not actually on the leaves of your salad. So that's something that can help to make sure that you get each bite is flavorful and full of both the salad as well as the dressing. And for this, you can whisk it together like we did just now. Another shortcut that you can take is just put them in a container that has a top that seals onto the top, and then you can just shake it together, and that will help with creating a temporary emulsion. I find when I do use the whisk, I get the emulsion to be a little bit more emulsified, if that's a proper word. But like I said, it's a temporary emulsion. You're just going to throw it on top of a salad. You don't have to worry too much about that being a permanent emulsion. So you can take that shortcut of just putting it inside of a container with a lid, shaking it up really quickly, and then it'll get all of your flavors mixed together, and you'll have a dressing that's homemade and super, super fast and easy. And that's one of the things, like if I have a favorite dressing that I run out of at home, I'll always just throw together a dressing. It's really, really quick. All right, so our last dish is whipped cream, which is one of my absolute favorites. And I remember years ago that my sister-in-law had come to visit, and I was in the kitchen and I was whisking away like a mad woman, and she was like, "What are you making?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm making whipped cream." And she's just like, "What? I didn't know you could make that like yourself." Most of us grew up with, like Cool Whip or Ready Whip out of a can. You don't really get homemade real whipped cream, but it's actually, like I said, super easy, super fast, and you can have control over all the ingredients. So making whipped cream, there's only 2 ingredients really, and plus flavoring. So what you need is whipping cream, and you can get light whipping cream, regular whipping cream, or heavy whipping cream. All of them will work. The difference between those varieties is the fat content. So the heavier it is, the more fat there is in the cream itself. But any of those will turn into a whipped cream. I have a heavy whipping cream here. These are usually pretty easy to find in the grocery store for me. But if you have regular whipping cream or light whipping cream, those will also work. And then you'll need some powdered sugar, or it's also called confectioner's sugar. This will mix really well with the with the whipped cream, and you won't end up with little globules, like crunchy bits inside of the whipped cream. So if you use regular like granulated sugar, it might get grainy in your whipped cream. So it's better to use this because it has a soft texture that will basically mix in seamlessly with your whipped cream. So that's why you want to use confectioner sugar instead of regular granulated sugar or brown sugar, whatever. Using this will give you a much better texture. And then flavoring. For flavoring, you can use pretty much anything that you like, but vanilla extract is a very common basic place to start. You can also do like maple syrup, which if you wanted to make like a maple whipped cream. Lemon or lime zest are also good options if you want to add a little citrusy note. If you have other kinds of extracts, you could do like an almond extract. So any other kinds of flavors that you want to add into your whipped cream when you finish making it, you can add those and layer them on top. You can even do like other fruit like purees. So if you were to puree some strawberries or raspberries or something like that, you could add a little bit of that into your whipped cream to make it a strawberry whipped cream or a raspberry whipped cream. So any kind of flavors can be added in on top of this. Spices as well, like a cinnamon or nutmeg or anything can be added and layered onto the flavors that you create. But let's get into how to actually create the whipped cream. So with the whipped cream, there's, again, not really any measurements with this one. You just figure out how much whipped cream you want to make. So I poured in about 1/4 of a cup, and the volume, it'll about triple in volume. So use that as a gauge of how much whipped cream you want to make for your final product. And then the sweetness depends on how sweet you like it. Just start with maybe a teaspoon or a tablespoon of sugar in your whipped cream, and then give it a taste. If you want it sweeter, you can add more. You know, always important to start with a little bit and add more, because you can't take it out, but you can always add more in. So start with a little bit of sweetener at the end, and then keep adding on, layer onto that if you want your whipped cream to be sweeter. And then usually just a little sprinkling of vanilla extract is all you need to add a little extra boost of flavor to the end of it. So I'm start whisking this, and basically just start with putting the whipped cream in a bowl and whisk away. With whipped cream, this is the opposite of with the mayonnaise. So with the mayonnaise, we wanted everything warm to make it go faster. With whipped cream, you want everything super, super cold, and that will make things go faster for your whipped cream. And what we're doing here is we're just incorporating air into the whipped cream. So we're trying to get air bubbles in between all the molecules of the whipped cream, and that will help make it expand and turn it into a big fluffy mound of whipped cream. I started this one again a little before the video so that you guys wouldn't have to sit here and watch me whisk for 5 minutes. So it's really warm in my house, but it's starting to melt a little bit, but you can see there we've got a nice whipped cream. Oh yeah. So I whisked this for about 4 minutes before the video started, and then I'm just whisking now a couple more minutes. Do we have I have a guest star who's in here trying to get a taste of whipped cream. This is my husband and my son Leo. So once you've whisked the whipped cream together, you can add the sweetener, and like I said, start with a little bit, add more as it progresses so you can taste how sweet you want it, and then keep adding a little bit more. If you need more sweetener, add less, so that you can always add more. You won't be able to take it out if it gets too sweet. And then the ways to use this, you can put it, like I said, on pretty much every kind of dessert. It's perfect as a dessert on its own if you just have some fresh fruit like strawberries or blueberries, any kind of fruit, honestly. I love berries with whipped cream. Tastes absolutely amazing. And then for keeping this, you can keep this in the refrigerator for a couple days. Like with the mayonnaise, it's best if you consume it pretty soon after you make it, because it doesn't have any preservatives in it. And that's pretty much it. Like, you can add your vanilla extract or whatever other kind of flavoring that you have when you get to the end. And It'll be absolutely delicious. It's super easy. So just to go over those one more time, the first one we did was a mayonnaise. The ingredients for that one, I'll just revisit it one more time. I wrote them down also to make sure that I don't forget the exact measurements. You're gonna use 1 large egg yolk for that, and then 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, half a cup of vegetable oil, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and a pinch of salt. And within about 4 or 5 minutes, you will have homemade fresh mayonnaise. The other one is a vinaigrette. For that, the ingredients you'll need are a vinegar. Any kind of vinegar that you have at home will do. I like a balsamic vinegar, red wine, white wine, champagne vinegar is also great. Any of those. And then you're gonna do also an oil. You can do an olive oil, vegetable oil, a nut oil. And then for those, the ratio that you're going to use, it's going to be 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. And then you can also add in any kinds of flavorings or sweeteners. I like honey, soy sauce is also good, ginger and garlic, and then of course salt and pepper are essential for your vinaigrette. And also something like Dijon mustard works really well in a vinaigrette as well. So those are the ingredients for your vinaigrette. And then finally is for a whipped cream. You're going to need a whipping cream, either light, regular, or heavy whipping cream. You're going to mix that with some powdered sugar and then any kind of flavoring. So vanilla extract, some kind of citrus, maple syrup, spices, fruit, any of that can be mixed in with your whipped cream, and then you'll just mix those together. You'll start by whipping the cream first, and then at the end you can add in the sweetener and add in the flavorings to give it the pop of flavor that you want. So that is how to make these 3 dishes. They, like I said, absolutely essential and great for the summertime because they go with everything that we already want to eat and enjoy for barbecues and those hot summer evenings. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And if you want more examples on some easy dishes like this to make, just send me a direct message and let me know that you'd be interested in learning more about some examples of this stuff that you can make at home, homemade dishes, recipes for things like this, and I'd be happy to share with you. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week and enjoy the sunshine. Bye guys.